Let's do this.
Welcome to the Dance Party 247 podcast.
Welcome to the Dance Party 247 podcast. You got myself, DJ V, DJ Wongy, DJ T, and today we have a special guest, Carlos Lopez.
Hey,
how are you doing, Carlos?
Carlos.
I'm doing good. How's everybody over there?
You're all good.
Yeah, not bad.
Okay,
bit cold.
we're doing good.
Other than that, we're all good.
Over here is hot as
So,
hell.
yeah, I bet it is. Okay, so do you want to just start by sort of introducing yourself, a little bit about what you've done, who you are, and what you do on Dance Party?
Well, basically, my name is Carlos Lopez. I'm a DJ from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in New York, United States. But then my parents, we moved here to Puerto Rico. I started DJing when I was like 14 years old. I'm about to be 50 this October. So basically, I've been doing this for almost like 30 something years. I started playing in garage parties and stuff like that for high school parties and stuff like that. When I was 18, I started working at clubs. And then that's when I started like playing clubs. I went and played in New York, Sound Factory. I played one time in Ministry of Sounds because I was playing for Budweiser. And we have like a party here in Puerto Rico. It was like a contest. And whoever like won the contest, we went to Ministry of Sound and we played there for one night with the Budweiser group. And I've been around playing a lot of places, Latin America. It's been a nice journey, you know. And Dance Party 24/7. I started playing. I think I've been there for almost like 2 months. I think it is. And I have a show. Yeah, I have a show on Sundays. I started working on Fridays, but then I moved to Sundays from 8 to 10. And man, it's been a blessing being in the station. That's the first station that I started playing, like an internet station. So it's opened a lot of doors for me, and I'm really grateful for that. That's me.
Cool.
Cool.
So, what do we want to talk about this evening then, Carlos? What's on your mind?
Well, there's a lot of things on my mind right now. We were talking the other day about some issue, like really like, well, it's right. Well, when we all started playing, there wasn't as many DJs as that right now, you know, and it's I know it's technology is taking us to another level, you know,
yeah,
which makes things easier for everybody. And that's not necessarily only in music, you know. We're talking about everything, you know. But I think that we're losing something very, very precious, you know. And when we're doing our job, you know, like blending music, you know, and it's the art of blending music, you know, like fighting, struggling with the pitch, you know, all the stuff, you know, that we used to do like a long time ago, you know. Yeah. And I know it's we have a lot of things like technology, you know, it's we're using right now, which is like it's a tool. I consider that a tool. But I think that we're losing that essence, you know, of being a DJ, you know, like a real DJ, you know. No, don't get me wrong, you know. But it's a little bit frustrated in a way for me, you know, since we started like playing like a long time ago, you know, years ago.
Yeah.
I remember when we started playing, there was like the turntable has the pitch control. It was like a thing, you know, like a ball, you know. It wasn't a pitch, like, you know, and it was hard. It was hard as hell to play, you know, to mix, you know, and to mix match music, you know. So it's always an argument that I have with people, you know. I respect. I mean, if you want to use that, you know, I respect that. Me myself, Carlos, you know, you see my equipment, you know, I have turntables, I have a controller. I'm old school guy, you know. I love to play with my turntables, you know, fight with the pitch, you know, stuff like. Even though when I use the controller, you know, I use the pitch control, you know, because basically that, as for me, I call that like being a chef, calling yourself a chef, you know.
Yes.
But when you're gonna cook something, you take it out of the fridge and just put it in the microwave, you know. So it's a convenient way to do it, you know. It's a tool, but we need to use it more, you know, and encourage people, young guys, you know, young DJs, you know, hey, this is how we started to do it, you know, things, you know, because what happens when we take those guys, those new generations, and you take them to a club where you have turntables, what's going to happen there?
I think for most people, who started like back in with the roots, on vinyl, or even with like a little bit later when it started, like on the CDJs and things, back then, you had to work your music. If you didn't work it, it wouldn't work at all. And so I like we us old school DJs appreciate what you're saying. As in like modern technology allows people to use like links and syncing and things, which push a button and off you go. Pretty much.
I was wondering when you was going to bring that up, Wongy. I was, waiting for you to bring up.
I'm guilty of doing it. I do it, but then I can play old school. I can do it old school. So I have the beauty of like, so I can abuse. I'm not abuse it, but I can use it, to my advantage, But I can still go back to old school.
I must admit, there's quite a few. A club setup, a typical club setup is two separates, which again, I suppose is a little bit old school now compared to a lot of people on controllers, isn't it? Especially in a home environment. In a club situation, you're going to find a mixer and two decks. Yes, you can see the waveforms. Yes, you can link them. Yes, you can even lock out the BPMs and all that kind of stuff. But assuming that
you can sync them on the Pioneers, can't you?
Yeah. Sometimes, obviously, if you're not used to using that equipment, you might not know how to do that anyway. So you don't have that luxury. You just walk in and you go, right, okay, I've got a pitch control. Yeah, I've got a start button, and away you go. Yeah. And you've got, I would say that if you've learned the skills to be a chef, like you put, Carlos, doesn't matter what tools you use, the product at the end will be better because you've got that schooling and those skills that'll take you to the next level to use that equipment to the best you can. Yeah. And it's the experience that you've gained.
But there's one thing that we not thinking about, but that thing is affecting the business. Let me explain to you. Okay. You have these big scenes DJs who call themselves DJs, which they're not really DJs. They're producers. There's two different things. All right. So you have these big names right now. No. Okay. They go to a club. Okay. They perform in a club as a DJ, which they're not. Okay. Just because you have like a sync button, and you just push that button and that's it, and you play music. Yeah. But that, in a way, that's affecting the business for DJs. Okay, let's not talk about producers because there's two different things, right? As for me, I'm a music producer also, but I'm a DJ. Okay, and it's the thing you have. Okay, let me explain to you. If you have a club, or you own a club, okay, and you have this DJ that it's been in the town now for almost all the time, he's usually been playing there, okay, forever. He's been there forever. He's one of the best DJs, DJ, not a producer. And you have this big name, okay, this big guy. He's a producer, which just like push like a pen drive, a USB drive, and has everything ready, set up, because basically that's what they do. They have their mixes like all set, they just play around with the faders and whatever. They don't really mix match music, okay?
Yeah.
And who you think the owner is gonna call? The big name. He's not gonna call the guy who's been there for almost 30 years. He's one of the best DJs. A real DJ. He's gonna call the big names, which in a way he's not a DJ. He's a producer, and that's really what kills me in a way. Okay, because in order for you to have those big gigs, like going to Tomorrowland, whatever, you gotta have. Just mention me out of the basically 40 DJs that go to parties like Tomorrowland. Okay, which are real DJs.
But there are other DJs who I know for a fact in the EDM world who pre-record their set, and then it's just played out.
It goes beyond that, It goes beyond that. Like I said, I've seen all those festivals and big parties, big names, stuff like that. There's one guy that really like.
Yeah, I mean,
I got really impressed by DJ Snake. That guy, he went to a festival. I think it was Tomorrowland a couple of years ago. He had two turntables. Okay, he wasn't using a controller. He has two turntables. His whole set, he was using vinyls, which it really killed me because the guy, he can mix, all right, And I was like, dude, that guy, he got my respect. So he can produce music. He can be, he's a real DJ, you know. That's what I call a real DJ, you know.
Yeah, that's a real DJ.
I think that basically when you use it,
not these digital DJs, AT.
because
Yeah.
I think that I think, like I said, it's a tool. I understand that, okay? Because I use a microwave instead of using the stove. That's the tool that I have, right? But when I'm going to make my main plate, I don't use the microwave. I go to the stove, right? And basically, that's why you got to show your skills, you know, okay?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that you skip when you use that kind of technology. There's the beat matching. You know, you got to learn how to count. You know, there's a 16, 32, no count, 8-beat count, you know, stuff that you need to learn. I mean, even though the notes, okay, are like the sync is not going to show you, teach you that you can mix. You're not supposed to mix two songs when they're singing together at the same time. You got to be a breakdown, intro, outro, stuff like that. You know, those are things that you need to know. You don't need to know, understand what it feel like to be a DJ. You know, that's what I think. You know, it's easier to do it like that. Just press a button. That's it. You know, that's my thing. You know, and I'm not saying it because I'm whining and I'm like you know, bitching about that thing. You know what I'm saying? Because for real, it's about this new generation of DJs. They need to understand there's a lot of things behind that, behind just a sync button. You know, there's a lot of things that you need to learn, you know, to understand, read the crowd, you know. I mean, it's being versatile, you know, all this stuff, you know. I was like the other day, I played a set that I started playing hip hop and I ended up playing trance, you know, which for some people that's the crazy thing, you know. As for me, I'm used to that stuff because basically I had to learn to play everything. I mean, in a club like here, in this area, there's a lot of people that speak English. There's a lot of American people. You got to play everything. All right. Yeah. You got a big community of people like tourists. A lot of people come here, so you got to learn how to play salsa, merengue, trance, house music, hip hop, everything. Right. So those are things that I think that skills that you need that this new generation they need to learn and understand. You know, in order for if you want to be like a real DJ, good DJ, you got to learn that. Basically, that's my thought. You know.
You know, I was summing up in my head, or basically, you need to be studious. You need to be a student of what you're doing. Appreciate what's gone on before. Learn aspects of that will help you, even in genres that have no direct influence on what you're doing. But you find that they actually do, because everything influences everything else. But you have to be very studious and knowledgeable of what's gone on before you, what's going on around you. And also one eye to the future as well, because we're all heading in the one direction. Yeah. Whether we like it or not. Yeah. That, you know, like Andrew was saying the other day, as a joke, you might be thinking how to mix. You're not even doing it virtually. You just think and you mix and music gets transmitted. 20 years, 30 years time, who knows where that will end up being. Yeah. We're streaming around the world now, but, you know, sort of technology moves on beyond our comprehension. Where does that leave us? Because we are in a technology-driven industry, aren't we?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so go back, say, 10 years when CD decks started to become a big thing. 10, 15 years ago, they started to become a big thing.
Yeah, 15,
you never had to sync. You still had to be a real DJ.
You got the skill
CD decks back then.
Yeah.
You couldn't just go on and go, gosh, press that button and do that. So anyone who started learning on maybe CDs back then, I'll give T his credit. He did learn the hard way. And you won't get that ever again, all right?
I still can't mix on vinyl.
Hey, let me tell you something. Playing on CDs, it was harder than playing with vinyls. Because there's no way you can touch the CD, you know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you had that.
Do a wongy.
If you let him play the CD player, oh man, you're a master doing okay.
Well, I've got old CD 800s here, Mark II. So there's no sync. The indicator for the pitch for your BPM is way out. You can be 1.5%, 2%, and it still says you the same BPM. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have worked out in my brain. This is the way my brain works. That if I play at 128 BPM, I know basically how much pitch above or below the next 1 BPM is to the nearest point. Yeah. Now, it doesn't do it exact because you can't go that exact. If you got a 0.02 or 0.01 on the really, really fine stuff, you can get really, really close. But even now, you're still having to touch and bend it. You will not get it exactly. And even to it says it's 128. It could be 128.05 and it'll drift. It will drift.
Yeah.
And you just have to keep it working. You can get away with it in a club or a bar, but when you're here in an enclosed environment or you're listening back, you go, that was going out. That was going out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yes. Thank you, Carlos.
You must do that a lot then, too.
Oh, geez.
Right, well, going back to what Carlos was saying just a little bit back. When you were saying about the DJ, you know, they need to like appreciate it and that. Yeah. And you said, yeah, it's learning the music, it's learning the beats, it's also knowing the crowd. Now this is another thing. See, like you can learn to DJ, and you may be a relatively good DJ, but if you go and play in front of a live audience and you can't read them people, that's not going to make you a very good DJ as well. So you know it is. So that's another form of art of like knowing, yeah. When you drop, you put a sync on and you drop a tune, and you have to watch the people when you do your drop, because if it doesn't go good, you need to like flip it up and change your music rather fast. Not I don't mean like change it like as in like dramatic change. You just need to change a slight bit of style, put a bit of upbeat to it, maybe.
I had this owner in the club. It's one of the biggest clubs in Puerto Rico. The club was called Peggy Sue. Okay, Peggy Sue. That's the name of the club. It was an icon club, you know, in Puerto Rico. The owner, he was from the States, and the guy he knew a lot about music. And I learned something from him that he told me, if you want to be a good DJ, a club DJ, you got to play for the cash register. Just play for the cash register. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He said, this is the way I see it. Okay. And it was awesome. You play 2 songs that everybody knows, 2 top 40 songs right now. What's going to happen? The crowd, the people's going to go to the dance floor, they're going to dance and everything. But then after that, you're going to play a song that nobody knows. What they're going to do? They're going to go back to the bar and drink. And that's the way you're going to have. You're going to have them all night, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, drinking and dancing, drinking and dancing. If you want to play music for yourself, do it in your house. For here, you got to play for the cash register, because that's the one that's going to pay you. And that's not because I had in my mind, you know, I said, you know what, I'm going to play what I like, you know. All right. No, you can't do that. All right.
Not especially when I know you do all sorts, Carlos, sweet 16s all the way through the club stuff, but especially when you're doing the weddings and the parties. You have a playlist, you have a no playlist. You have a certain age group that will not appreciate certain types of music or understand it.
Yeah. And
also people inappropriately ask you for certain wedding songs, which, are you sure you want to play that at your wedding? That's actually a breakup song. Are you sure? Because, it sounds good, but do you really know what the lyrics are saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to educate people on these things. And then, obviously then it's your interpretation. Is like, this is my recipe. How do I make spice this up in the Carlos way, in the DJT way, the Rongi way, that's unique to yourself? Yeah, each recipe.
Not envy way, no. Envy don't get a mention then, is it?
You're not part of that recipe. Yeah, because envy is out of the recipe.
I don't even get a mention.
I know.
I didn't mean it in that way.
But it's too late now. You've done your damage, mate. What was that?
All right.
I remember that also. This guy, he wasn't a DJ, but he owned a lot of clubs back in the States, you know. And when I started playing there, I was a kid basically, and I was like 18, 19 years old. All right. So you see, you got a lot of skills, but you know what? If you want to be good, practice every day. Take music from the 70s and practice. Give it an hour, half an hour, an hour, and just mix 70s music, that disco music. And but who wants to play disco music? It was in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Why? And basically, I started doing that, and I still do that after 30 years, you know. I practice I do have a lot of vinyls, but just 70s music, you know, vinyls. And the thing is that the way he explained it to me, which makes a lot of sense, that, you know what? Those days when they were recording the music, it was live. Okay. It wasn't programmed. Okay. so it wasn't quantized. So it was live. So basically, one of the segments was going to be 16, basically like 128 the BPM. But the next one, maybe the drummer was get tired, and he was gonna record like 126, 130. It wasn't quantized. So basically, in order for you to mix those days, you needed to use the pitch. All right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that's how I learned how to mix, how to do the beat match, and I still do that every week. Once I take one day out of the week, other of the week, and I play my 70s music, half an hour, maybe an hour, and that's the way, that's something that the new generation, if you guys listening to it, you can use that even with the controller. No, it's gonna be hard, okay, but that's the way you're gonna learn. And that's one of the basics about big matching, okay. Just play with the pitch.
Do you think that the new generation of DJs are a little bit lazy?
Well, it's
in
not
regards to because they've got the tools. Instead of learning properly, the tools are there, so they just use them instead of saying, "Well, I actually want to be able to mix properly." Do you think it's a bit of laziness with the generation we're in?
It's like when you produce music right now. If you want, you can buy loops. Okay, so why are you gonna spend time playing the piano, the keyboard, when you can just drag and drop? Okay, you drag a loop and just put it there, and that's it. Okay,
It's easy,
I mean,
innit?
we all get lazy, in a way we get lazy. Okay, but I think when this, as for me, this is a passion. This is more than it's more than a hobby. It's a passion that I have, and I like to learn every day, and I like to keep on practicing, and I like to do my stuff. I do my assignment every week, and every time I play something, I record it and I listen to it. Okay, and basically I do different techniques, like, okay, like when you roll over, something that we call roll over, that when you start like music, you just like throw the record, and that's it. You start matching the beat, on the run. Okay, not on the beat, on number one beat. This is different things, that techniques that you can use. I think that they're lazy, in a way. Okay, but you can't blame them, because basically you have the tool. As a matter of fact, just imagine when we have these mixers, we just, and as a matter of fact, let me tell you something. I don't know, but I don't recall using the EQ while I was mixing those days. There was nothing about cutting off the frequencies, like bass and stuff like that when we were mixing. I didn't use that. It was pure mixing. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want. Remember that one?
When I first started, it was a very basic mixer. I mean, I had two channel, yeah. I had two vinyl decks, and my 2-channel mixer just literally had tweeter and bass. It didn't even have the mid range, and it was only just to enhance it, just in case it was just a little bit low.
Mm-hmm. That's it. The game button. That's it. As a matter of fact, and most of the clubs that I played back in the days, the mixers that were the faders, they were just bottles. We call it bottles,
Yeah,
the knobs,
you got the old school rotary mixers.
There was no cutting frequency, stuff like that. It was a real mixing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, them rotary mixers go for like £4,000, £5,000, £6,000.
They're
a lot of money.
Very desirable.
Yeah, Alan and Higgs do one, and it's about £5,500.
It was a rain technology.
Mixers,
I think they were the ones that brought those mixers. Yeah, I'm telling you, I want to buy one.
I would love to be able
one.
to mix for them. Yeah, I ain't got £5,500 just for a mixer. I can't afford that. I'm not rich like you, Carlos. You know what I mean?
No, what? I was watching the other day. It was a live from David Morales, and he took a shot of his equipment, his setup, and he has that mixer. It was amazing, and he was playing with turntables and everything.
For me, that's for proper blending. You're not chopping. That's for proper DJing, proper blending. One tune to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, seamlessly. That's what they're for. They're not for the performance DJ. No, just for mixing. Exactly. For clubs. For clubs. Yeah. And like I said, it's
You know, I was watching the other day on YouTube. They were like breaking down a mix from, I don't know who was the guy. Oh, we're gonna break down a mix, whatever, from, I don't know, I can't remember the name of the guy. And the guy, he was mixing on the drops. Okay, he was waiting for the drops, mixing two drops, but he used like four effects, which I was like, what the hell, just mix a freaking song and that's it. You know what I'm saying? No, the guy, he used like four, the reverb, echo, delay, um, face. I mean, a lot of stuff just for one mix, for mixing two songs. So
But that's
yeah,
what
I
people
mean,
want now, don't it? People want that entertainment. But then if you use an effect properly, you shouldn't hear it. You shouldn't, the crowd should not hear that effect being put in. If it's being used properly, it should sound like a part of the track. That's how it should be done. So when you get these DJs and they're cranking up the your reverb and your echoes, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be so subtle that it sounds like it's just a part of the track and a part of the mix. That's how it should be.
I mean, you can use effects, because I like to do it also while I'm playing. I mean, on the songs, but when I'm mixing, that's it. I'm gonna mix. That's it. Okay, we're gonna mix. That's for me. That's my drop. Is the mix, not the drop for the song. That's my drop when I'm mixing the songs, two songs.
Yeah.
Okay. And I love when you're mixing and you have those. That's kind of a mismatch, between the two kicks, like they try to they want to get each other, and you hear that doubling sound of the kicks, that's as for me, I love that. And also when you mix it and you have that perfect match, it goes into a frequency. It's like a face, Oh my God, that's lovely. As for me, I'm not gonna cry. I feel like crying right now.
I don't know how it sounds to you guys, but when I get a track in the mix, not when I'm actually bringing it out to the main room, but in my ears, the sound just doubles and goes warmer, deeper, warmer, louder. That says to me, you're in. Yeah.
Exactly. I just want to say something before we continue. I don't want DJs, to get the information wrong. Okay. I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. Okay. In a way, it's like an advice, Okay. Especially for the new generation. Okay.
Yeah.
It's an advice, this is something that basically most of the people they do this is because they feel a passion for it, It's like when you become a nurse or something like that, you have to love that, you have to have that passion. Okay. You just be a mechanic, Okay. So stuff like that, you need to feel it, have it in your heart, your bones, your blood, and also when you do this, you want to do the best, and you want to make this to take, get the best out of you. But in order for you to do that, there's some stuff that you need to learn, you need to do. Okay, you're not gonna be a good nurse, just by saying, "Hey, I got a passion for that." You got to go to school, you got to study, you got to do a lot of things. I think that for us, exactly, and also, it's as a matter of fact, you know what? I like to talk a lot about food. Like being a chef. That's the only job that you can go to school. Okay, you can go to school, you can have a bachelor degree in culinary arts. But still, you graduate and you're not a chef. You know what's going to give you that title? Experience.
Yeah, real life experience. Yeah.
And that's something that I think I compare a lot, and I talk a lot about being a chef with a DJ, stuff like that, because one of them requires a lot of skills.
Yeah.
Okay. Because basically, when you're a chef, you don't have a machine that's going to blend everything for you. Maybe there's going to be a robot, a couple of years, that's going to do everything for you. Still, you got to Google. You can Google stuff, recipes and stuff like that. But you got to be there to cook everything, put the seasoning on and all this stuff, And for us, I think that being a DJ, I think it should be taken more seriously. Okay, we got more DJs than COVID patients right now. I'm telling you. Okay, and there's a millions of people that with the COVID stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's more DJs than that. All right. And it's something that, it worries me in a way because there's like too many of them.
Half Jake,
Yeah.
speak to Half Jake Sunday. And what he did say is that you noticed we're all geeks. We all look at DJ porn. Yeah. Basically your controllers, your decks, whatever, PA equipment. And you can't stop doing it every day as an addict. But anyway, bottom line is Half Jake was saying that there's not a lot of stuff secondhand on the market. There's just not. And we've noticed that. I bought obviously some decks about 8-10 months ago, and then all of a sudden the price started to go up because it was at the point where everybody started selling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot there. Prices started to go up again. But he said, you watch when people start able to DJ in the real world and they find that they can't do it. It's not really for them. Yeah. You watch, everything will be dirt cheap because all the pawn shops, all the eBays, all the marketplaces, you name it. Yeah. Flooded with the stuff. And
People going to resell everything. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And look, it's the same thing.
Because I want to get my XDJ 1000s tonight.
Yeah, you'll just wait a little bit. You'll get it. You know what? Let me tell you something. When also to produce music, when you music producer, it's the same thing. There's a program called Fruity Loops. Okay.
Yeah, I've got some of that. I got Fruity Loops.
Okay. Have you noticed how easy it is to make music with that?
I do. I make our station jingles with it.
I mean, you need to go to school, music school for that, to produce a song. You have like a piano, basically like a piano roll there. You just like paint everything, the notes, press play, and it's gonna play everything.
Then you got, like you said, your samples, your loops. All of a sudden, the way I do it is exactly the same way. 'Cause I cannot do music. I just basically do like Lego bricks. But that sounds good to my ear.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. There's a tune.
And also with the music, you don't know how to sing. You got auto-tune. Puts other notes there. You know what I'm saying? B minor, B minor. I mean, there you go. It's something that I think that basically, how you say that, because it's like in a way you're gonna hurt yourself. Because when you sing using auto-tune, what happens when you're gonna sing live?
Yeah. True.
If you're a DJ,
what happens when we know? Go on, Carlos. Sorry.
No, when you go to a club and play in the real world, the turntable stuff, whatever it is, what's going to happen to you. I know that basically most of the DJs, they carry their own stuff, they control stuff like that, but still, what happens? You playing that night at the club, the controller get messed up. Somebody, drops a beer, on your controller, and the only thing you have two turntables on the club. What are you going to tell the owner? I can't play that because I don't know how to use that. Are you a DJ? For real? Exactly. No, for real. I think about that.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with your tune selection, reading the crowd, working to the preset that the event owner is giving you or the promoter is giving you. Yeah. And working the bar if that's what you're supposed to be doing. If you're the headline DJ, you're there for people to get through the door. People paid extra money. You just fill the dance floor. But if you're the resident, cash register, as Carlos said, can you do all that? Yeah. And do that every night. Repeat. I've had nights where I've been told I'm the worst DJ in the world. Next night, I've been praised and said I should charge more money. So that says to me, I need to get better and be more consistent.
I played in this club for 3 years. Okay. And it's hard to be a resident DJ for 3 years in a club. Because I play Fridays and Saturdays. And it was hard. But you know what? I learned something. As for me, when those times, with the vinyl stuff like that, and we had this new record coming, oh my God, we got whatever, Spin Sugar, whatever, okay? And all the DJs, they used to play side A. I used to play side B. And I was playing the different versions of all the records. Okay. So basically people were saying, oh, they got a good music there. No, I'm playing the same music at all the clubs. but just a different version. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once a month, okay, well, that was my technique. Once a month, I was playing the verses that everybody were playing. Okay. And it sounded that it was different music. Oh, he has new music. No, it's not new music. It's a different version of the record. That's it. That's all. Basically, that's all. And those are tricks, that I was saying, though, that you were saying, see, some things that you need to learn, skills. I mean, I was playing for this station a couple of days ago. The guy before me, dude, he had like 4 CDJs 3000. He has a big ass mixer, Pioneer one. Dude, these dudes had a dream setup.
That's my V10.
But you know what? But this is what really killed me. The guy, he was using the sync, and he wasn't mix matching the records. How the hell you do that? Not even using the sync. And for him, he was doing something good. No, he was dancing all around the place. I say, dude, no, that's not going right. You know what I'm saying? And he played 2 hours like that. It was hell for me, for real. Okay. And I was like, that's the thing. You got the money, but you don't got the skills. And you don't even worry about learning. You know what I'm saying? Just learning. That's
okay. I'm going to turn that up. I want to turn that upside down on its head, Carlos. So forget about being DJs. Look at it like this. If you're just going out clubbing, you're not a DJ, you've never mixed in your life. Do you care what the DJ's doing? You don't, do you? You just want to hear good music and good mixing. Despite if he's using sync or if he's using all the tools available to him, you don't know. You don't care. You just want to go out and have a good time. And that's what modern DJing is about now. That is what it's about. It's not about actually being able to put 2 tracks together. It's about using the tools you got and making the crowds happy.
There's just 2 ways of doing it. If you can do that without having to need the stabilizers on, for a better word. If you can do it for real, there will be people there who would appreciate it, and you're more likely to get other gigs because of it, and have a career at DJing. And like it's on that one in particular occasion, if you can do it and turn it on when it needs to be turned on, then you will be a long-serving DJ, and you'll have an art and a craft. You'll be proud to call yourself a DJ.
And that's another thing. And we gotta think about this. People are getting educated about music. Okay. So now it's not the same. Like 20 years ago, you were playing and basically your records were mix matching. It was cool. Nowadays, people know about music. They know where you're messing up. Okay. And that's something that some people, they don't think about that, but you go into a crowd. I remember playing, especially in clubs that, special clubs. Let me call it special clubs, all right? For special people, right? Those are the most educated people that I ever played for in a club. And you were mixing a record and it wasn't going right, they were going to boo you. Boo, are you? Stuff like that. For real. I'm telling you, for real. They know. People are starting to understand that getting educated about music, since they have everything. Like, I mean, you can just download virtual DJ, all right? Put it in your laptop, your phone, whatever. You can mix there, and it's easier to do it. So everybody has access to that. So what people are doing, people are starting to learn. Okay, and that's something that, like you said, most of the people, they don't care about. They just want to have a good time, have a couple of drinks, and jump around, stuff like that, But you have other people that really want to hear something good. Okay, like I said, and I go back to the food. You go to a restaurant, you can have the best chef, but if your presentation sucks, what's gonna happen? You're not gonna eat. If you go into a table, it's so messed up, there's dirt all over the table, stuff like that, leftovers and all over the table. You're not gonna eat. You're gonna get up and leave.
I suppose it depends where you come from. If you got somebody that owns a club or is an event promoter and is a DJ or a music lover, and appreciates the skill level. If you can demonstrate that to them, you'll get the call back again because you're doing your job correctly. And it was a choice out of two people doing exactly the same thing. No difference to the crowd. One was doing it genuinely, stabilizers off, everything natural, organic. The other person's using every gadgetry known to man. Who would you pick to come back for your gig for next time? I know who I'd pick. And there's people like that, like us, who will do that. Joe Blogs won't care. They've got a drink. They've got whatever special pills they take. They're happy. They're off. They really don't care. Yeah. But those people that do care, I can't turn it off. No matter how out of the game I am, I go to a club and that DJ is under scrutiny from me from the word go. I don't care who they are. Yeah.
Yeah. If anywhere I go out and when they're playing live music, I can't help but hear what the DJ's doing. Yeah, even if I'm like, I'm with a crowd of people, I'm having a few drinks, having a laugh, I still hear. You can't turn it off. No,
and I say if we're going to in the next couple of months here in the UK when things open up, we are going to put live events on, and we're looking for DJs to bring people to our events, to be promoted DJs. And if somebody can be able to actually do the job and do the skills correctly, having a crowd rocking, got a lot of their friends around, and I've got the actual skills, guess who'll get you free a week Saturday. We may be able to ask work for you. You know what I mean? That's the difference. You don't know who's watching you at any one time. If you're just there, got a few people, crowd's not really doing much. Yeah, you're on up sync, and you're showing you're not interested. You know what I mean? You're just there to collect a couple £100 from the bar or whatever. See you later.
It's something that I was playing. It was 3 weeks ago. This station and I went to watching just like reading the comments, And that day I was in my turntables, And I was like, they were so amazed. I was like, have you ever seen the 2 turntables like before? Like, gosh, They was like, oh my God, he's using turntables. Oh my God, like what? It's just turntables. I mean, that's how we all started. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was like, man, yeah, I'm old. I feel like Moses. Like, Jesus. I mean, I got, for real, because they were all like, oh my God, he's using turntables. And I was like, yeah, I'm using turntables and a mixer and speakers and I was like, yeah, and headphones. And it's not for real. And you get that reaction once in a while from people. Okay, because like I said, we're losing that part of originality, Okay, yes. And that's something that
you stand out from the crowd, don't you? If you've got skills and you can show them, you're standing out. You're different than everybody else. Everyone else is sync or on doing whatever. You're doing whatever they're doing. But I'll give you an example. We were talking about approaching bars and clubs. I mean, every other day just walked up to one and got their numbers. Great. Best way to do it face to face. But if you send an email, what are they going to do to an email? Ignore it. 9 times out of 10, not going to do anything. In Envy's case, you basically remind them they ignored the email and you got contact details. If you put them a handwritten letter, old school, which you had no choice before emails came along, a handwritten letter, that there's somebody taking the time and effort to write this, or at least read it, then what you got their attention. You got more their attention.
There's more power in that handwritten letter than there is in that drive on a keyboard.
And if you're doing all the skills, you're showing all the skills, you're going to stand out without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. I want somebody that basically does the job properly. At the end of the day, promoter, if you bring people in, you'll probably win because of numbers. But if it's a choice of basically, if it was an even Stevens, the person with the skills going to stand out because there's more performance involved.
Exactly.
If you're waiting to the crowd, handing giving all this, all your Vicis, RIP, all that kind of stuff. Great. But you've got to mix your stuff specifically. You've got to do all your stuff correctly. If you've got time to do that, how many times have you had to do that, Wongy, on your turntables when you went vinyl the other week?
Not
giving it all this.
You
didn't, did you? No,
he does the hand thing. Yeah.
It kind of went By
Yeah,
the way,
I know,
didn't
I
it?
know, I know when he's on fire.
Like that,
When he started doing this like this, okay, come on, like, okay, he's on fire.
But that's it, isn't it? It's
So
the,
a message, I was going to say, just a message to all you young DJs. Just get a set of vinyl decks and practice. Simple as that, innit?
Well, no,
Don't
you,
get
I mean,
yourself set
you
vinyls
don't even have to
and
do
practice.
that. Just take off the sync button. Get rid
Just
of
use
it.
the pitch exactly.
Yeah, use the pitch.
That's another. That's I think that's another theme for another podcast, and it's something that really it's something you got to think about. This. Imagine that you're playing a club, all right? You're just playing, and this guy walks up to you and say, "Hey, listen, maybe you're playing trance that night, okay? You're playing trance because that's the music that you like." And this guy comes to you and said, "Listen, can you play? Let me say, let's see, regard, write it. You know that's deep house, right?" And you tell him no, because basically I don't play that. I just play trance. And that guy, he's the owner of 50 clubs around the world, and he was looking for a DJ.
Yeah.
Do you think he's gonna call you for a job?
no.
Of course, that's it. Opportunity gone.
That's something that's another topic, okay, for another
Yes.
conversation.
Oh, confession time, Carlos. You know, we're talking about riding the pitches and stuff. Again, I know all my tracks, obviously, I have keyed them, which, okay, people may say that's cheating or not. I've keyed them and I know what the BPM is. But what I do to keep it lively for me is when I would bring the track in and I've got to pitch it, I will ride the pitch. I will spin it up. I've got used to these decks now that basically I know that it's like 2 or 4 BPM. I've got to go up. I can give it a nudge or a bigger nudge, ride the pitch up and bring it in. That's just because I can get these tracks typically in within 1 or 2 BPM within 30 seconds. They're synced, they're done. Yeah, I'm just waiting to do a mix. But if I have to ride that pitch, I'm probably doing about a minute. and I'm trying to learn to just go, I'm in, okay.
Yeah,
And then I try not to nudge it, but sometimes I have to nudge it or start again. But I just try and do that because just it's a skill element that I'm practicing. I would never do that in a live environment. I wouldn't. Yeah, there's other things to do. But when you're on the radio and it might be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, yeah, and there's 3 people and a dog listening to me, I will do that. I will go and have a pit. Yeah, I mean, and I feel good about that to myself.
And that's the way it should be done, for real. That's the way it should be done. You know, I mean, something like I try. When you're playing a club, it's different because you'll be playing for 4 or 5 hours. Okay, usually you play long versions. When you're on the radio, like I said, like 2 hours, even though it's 2 hours, I try like I don't wait for the. I just go right into the middle of the track and I just mix it. That's what I do. Okay, but then you have to fight with it. With the pitch. That's what I do when you use turntables. There's no way. I mean, you got to fight with it.
I know it's your style, Carlos.
I think that's
your style. You put your hand on top of it, so it looks like your hand is just resting there, and then you just slide your hand like that. That's where most people would actually see them actually pinching it, going up and down like that. Because one originally went, he's not touching the pitch, and we had to look closer and go, oh, he's got his hand on top of the pitch, and he's doing this.
Yeah.
More subtle.
Yeah, because basically when those turntables, the pioneers, the pitch is not the same as the techniques, the 1200s. Okay, if you go a little bit, fast, it'll go real fast. Okay, so but you got to go little by little. So I learned, I had to like get used to it. Yeah. And that's the reason that's how it works, and that's the way I use it, But talking to you about that, it's something that being versatile, play everything. And like I said, when I play music for myself, I like hip hop. That's my music. I grew up in New York. Okay, basically when everything started, hip hop. So those are my roots, hip hop and R&B. And I play that when I'm here in the studio for me. But if I wanted to make a living out of this, I had to learn to play everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Trance. You know how many people, like I said, dude, it was, I felt bad the other day because I was playing some garage music in the other station and they were like, "Oh my God, you got that in Puerto Rico?" I was like, "What the hell?" Like, what are you talking about? For real. And also, I play drum and bass the other day. I play everything. It's some music that I'm not really like into it. Because if you ask me, I respect drum and bass, but it's not my type of music.
Yeah.
You see, I'm not gonna watch the car listening to drum and bass for real. Okay, but I play because I know for the crowd that I'm playing right now is basically UK crowd. Okay, I'm not gonna play the music that I really like here. Okay, I'm trying the things that I'm trying to educate people. Listen, we Latin people. You're gonna hear some tribal music, some stuff like that, because those are our roots. Just for UK, that's a trance music. Okay, trance music, that's something that's an icon in UK. Trance music. Okay, yeah, I understand that. That's the reason why I try to like go more UK style when I play. All right.
You know what?
And
Until you came along, we've had one or two DJs from overseas, but we seem to have a whole bunch of them. We've got a whole bunch more that we're talking to at the moment to come on board. And they just, I don't know why it is about UK music, but they just see it in a slightly different way than their own market. Because we're in it, we might not see it that. It's just what it is to us. You know what I mean? Because if you go in like techno music, to me, that's like Berlin. Yeah. That's European, German, hard hitting. Yeah. Balearic, obviously, Ibiza. Yeah. It's Italy as well. You got French house. So because more European in that respect to us, and obviously got your Latin beats as well. But you say UK style, and we go like, well, what is UK style? I mean, garage is UK garage, but other than that, it's like, but maybe I don't know. You're dealing for different perspectives.
Because it's okay. Because that what I meant UK style. All the genres that you mentioned, that's I put them all together.
Because we do a mix of everything.
If you talk about Latin music, okay, you gotta call bachata, salsa, merengue, calypso, stuff like that. Those are Latin music. Okay, so maybe you're gonna say Latin music. You put them all together because you got salsa, it's from Puerto Rico. You got merengue, that's for the Dominican Republic. It's like you said, Berlin, they play techno, or maybe London, they play trance.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Dance Party 247 podcast. I've been the DJ T. We've got DJ Wongi, DJ Envy, and our special guest today, DJ Carlos. Thank you for your time. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you've got a comment, please leave it below, and we'll see you next time. Ta-da.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.